Before we kick the video off, I want to let you guys know about Litify. It's the AI coach you can link your Faceit and MM games to, and it breaks them down, tells you what to improve on. My favorite thing is this mapping tool, which tells you what positions you're winning a lot of your fights as compared to losing them. Does the same thing for smokes and flashes. Bring up on the map, it tells you which ones you're using well, which ones you're throwing at bad timings. There's also more of a breakdown into your aim, tells you if your counter strafing's good, your crosshair placement, all of that. And same thing with utility. Your HE is doing a lot of damage. Are you dying with too much utility on your belt? What exactly is going on there? So try it out for free in the description box below. It's been 2 years since Device last played Mirage. Obviously, Astralis is permaban for a very long time now, so I want to look at how did he fit in with this team. Was he looking confident in his movements on this map? I'm aware of the controversy around this particular series, but I want to really look at, is Device looking confident? Is he playing well with his teammates when he's going towards the site? And how is it really all playing out? Now, Riz gets picked off here, but Device comes here, plays this very standard position towards this ticket booth, and you can see he's really got a good system going here with ZTR. The basics are down, but it's really how you defend this A site. Good flash for him to clear this close A ramp position, and he's going to find himself on top of a ticket, and you can see with this A ramp covered, he's really able to be confident here to AWP down connect this very strong angle here and find himself a couple of kills. There goes the first one there. As this happens, the smoke off for ZTR allows Device to come back in here. He peeks close, repositions, and takes out Key. Could have potentially taken out Innocent as well, and from there you can see a very clean kind of hold from him, gets himself a couple of kills. Unfortunately for NIP, this does start to fall apart here. You can see ZTR does get a kill here towards Innocent, but he's going to get traded off. But one thing I want you to notice is, as these two kills come through for Anonymous, is Device has repositioned very quickly from Ticket Booth, putting himself in a position that no one would really expect. You can see it's kind of cleared, but it's obviously a free kill there for Device, and he's going to end up in this difficult 1v1 against Snacks, which is a little bit awkward when the fights start to go down around this particular smoke, and Snacks manages to slip away towards the B site. Ultimately, it ends up in a 1v1 where Snacks sees Device jump out the window, is able to reposition and hit his shot. My favorite thing though is how this two-man setup here towards the A site works. Something you can do if you just have one friend and you're playing a Mirage with. You can play like this and you're going to be very effective against almost every single kind of attack, where you get this A ramp control where you've got this decent kind of information where ZTR is. You get this contact come through, and then as that happens, you make sure that this guy close A ramp has a molly or a smoke. He can drop that and then watch Palace while your AWPer continues to go to town towards Connector, because honestly, they're such advantageous fight. And hopefully you can see that between the two of them and the smoke on towards A ramp, they're looking at all these three entrances onto the A site and locking them down just as a duo, waiting for the point of contact when the T side starts to strike before dropping that smoke on A ramp. I know it's a system because the exact same thing happened in this round with the Scout. Exactly the same. Smoke down A ramp, pivot, look at Palace, Device is getting kills towards comms. So you can see this little back and forth they've got going on towards them. Good, simple stuff, but necessary to lock down this A site. Now, despite those situations where NIP look fully in control, able to run their little setup that they love to do, is that once things got hectic, it seemed to look a little bit less than what you might be hoping from the ninjas. First off though, nice little pick here from Device, smoking com to put out that molly, peek under the smoke, anyone trying to get those top mid boxes will get picked. If you get flashed, disappear into the smoke, and then no one comes out, so he decides to check underpass before. Then he realizes, all right, if no one's coming here, maybe they're going towards one of the extremities pretty quickly, which is exactly what's going on. Looks for this peek towards A ramp, gets flashed off, however, and disappears into the smoke. This is the first thing that was interesting to me, is Rez stays all alone without any support at all. ZTR can't help him, Device disappeared through the smoke, so give it the first pick like that, before ZTR then gets mollied out and fought, and gets caught off guard like there. Now it's a 3v5, you don't want to save, what are you going to go for here? You can see Device gets flashed, pushed off, Plopsky also gets flashed, or he turns around and eventually gets the trade, and this might just look like good standard kind of CS, but the problem to me is, I think on another map where Device has played a little bit more, is he is so good at making sure he always has an escape plan, right? I think once he decides he wants to play this passive angle, is you'd probably just back off even further and get to here where you can see that if the flash comes through, bang, you got flash, you can now disappear to the left and you're no longer going to get caught. Or maybe he thought Plopsky was going to be running anti-flash and not get caught by this, which is often something else you see as well, is the rifler playing anti, the AWPer posts off, the AWPer gets flashed, he disappears, the rifler then peeks out, takes that swing and kills that guy swinging, but they're both just staring straight at it, cop the flash, which is so incredibly common from the T side. So these little details I'm seeing in this round here are what I'm looking at NIP to improve on going forward on Mirage. Moving along to the T side now, round 22 is pretty much what I'd expect from Device on all maps, not just Mirage, but it's great to see him incorporating some of this straight away in the first official. First thing he does, very calculated peek, not much chance of him dying, but a good chance of him opening the round up for his team. They go for this cheeky boost to try and catch him on crossing, just miss him, but the molly deep, Device decides to re-peek onto this and catches Mineo, so I'm going to say his name, giving his team a 4v4. Since a pick went down for the CTs around the map somewhere else. Now, the other part that Device is very good at is one, these controlled opening picks, but the other thing is just controlling areas of the map and making sure there is so many less openings for the CTs to try and go for a play. You can see here, Res smokes window, Device is trying it the whole time. Innocent tries to get cheeky right behind that smoke popping, thinking maybe they'll get lazy, running as that smoke's not quite bloomed. Device is not getting lazy. He's making sure that every little thing is covered and he punishes that player. Now coming up short, the next part of this I really like is this area here, coming up here. Wang, Device gets on this angle, he posts up, making sure there's no opening for Snacks here to potentially go for a kill. We saw Rez just release this flash, and it's all going to go down very calculated. As that flash pops, Device is now, alright, bang flash, Snacks is forced off the angle, and he's going to come here to plant the bomb. Unfortunately for Nip, this player has been left unchecked. He kills Device before making things pretty awkward for Rez with this particular fight. Flopsky ends up cleaning up this one, luckily for them winning. I guess you'd call it a 1v2, but it was more of a 2v2 and giving Nip that T-sided round. And us, a great example as to why Device is one of the best players in the world. In fact, the only reason this round was so close is I blame Hampus and ZTR. Why are they not saying the B player's still alive, the B player's still alive? Make sure you clear all of sight, because that could have saved them this round, coming down to Plopsky getting 2 nice kills in the end. So good round overall from Device. Now, another good example of this is coming out B apps, and it's very similar to when we saw coming up short how Device posts on that market window. He does the same thing coming out here, and again, very common to see Orpa do that. Support, throw some utility, post on anyone potentially rotating out before moving in here, because things get a little bit dicey for him. At 3v3, he decides I could need to potentially help out and kill Innocent. That has to become a priority before he actually does get these potential shots here on towards the player on short before repositioning and getting a lot of good info for his team. Jump spotting here, and they know where the 2 players are. They don't have to worry about market anymore. Goes for a decent swing here, misses the shot again, and it's left in a 1v1 for Hampus. And I don't know, maybe you want to blame the lag for some of those shots. It's hard to tell if it was the issues that Nip were having that maybe play into this, but I think Device played this well. He took good fights. He came out from apps, challenged Innocent when he realized that was the priority in that 3v3, not stuck on holding that window rotation. And I think this was a great example of how you should come out apps as an Orpa, help your teammate out, and not be stuck in your ways. And in the afterplant, you saw he collected a lot of information as well. So even though he missed the shots, I think this was a really well played round and a good example to look at. The final round I want to look at is this one here, deep in overtime, round 35. So I think it sums up exactly what's going on in Nip, at least in this Mirage game. One, I think that Device was on form. He was playing pretty well, except for that one round where I pointed out where I think he should have fallen back further into CT. I think overall, he played quite a solid game. 2, threat is not in the server, and I think that showed here. I think they had a few rounds where things kind of went wonky. The team wasn't playing together, and they were struggling to deal with some scenarios, and I think this round here is going to really show that. And then 3, I think that the lag did play a bit of a factor. It affects your confidence, how you want to play out scenarios, so those are the 3 kind of factors. And the reason I've picked this round is because I think it's a good example of Nip not being fully coordinated in this retake. So you see here, Device hits a really nice shot here on form, beautiful shot onto Innocent, before that smoke lands in front of him, and he's really limited as to what he can peek. He can't clear con like we saw in that CT round. In fact, he cops a flash and it becomes very difficult for his team. Plopsky full blind gets peeked here, and it ends up in the 2v2. Now look at Device's movement. He's forced to come over here to the right. Look at anyone coming over the stairs. He can't have a nice angle down there towards connector, and it allows actually the T's to have a lot of movement and clean up both of them through the smoke. Now, just for a little bit of context, Snacks got this kill on here towards Catwalk before Nip was retaking. So ZTR was throwing this smoke to try and block off Snacks. You can see he could have been on any of these angles on Catwalk here, trying to catch them crossing. I think in hindsight, Nip probably realized that it was unlikely that Anonymous had control of jungle, so Snacks couldn't stay up here, and he actually had to jump in here and clear it. But the smoke goes down anyway. You know the rest of the story, but I just want to explain why he did it so you guys can see some of the thought processes these pros have to go through. But that's it for this one, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and I'll catch you all in the next video.